Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Lawmaker William Wong Kam-Fai has stepped down from his duties at the Legislative Council with immediate effect. That's after his failure to report this arrest to LegCo over alleged drink driving. Wong's administrative duties at the Chinese University of Hong Kong have also been suspended.
66-year-old lawmaker William Wong was arrested on Monday night over alleged drink driving. 2 days after the incident came to light, Wong issued a statement apologizing for the trouble brought to society and the legislature. He said in order not to impact LegCo's operations, he decided to step down from all his lawmaker duties at LegCo, adding that he is honored to have served the public at the legislature over the past 3 years. And as police investigations are ongoing, he couldn't comment further on the case. In a statement, LegCo President Starry Lee confirms the Council Secretariat has received Wong's notification of the resignation letter. Lee says Wong's decision is respected, noting that Wong's service to the legislature and Hong Kong is appreciated. Wong did not make an appearance at the LegCo chamber today. Lawmaker Judy Chan, a member of the LegCo Supervisory Committee, says they haven't received instructions to continue internal probes into Wong's case following his resignation. Wong, who is the Associate Dean of Engineering at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, also has his administrative duties at CUHK suspended. In a statement, CUHK stresses it attaches importance to the conduct of its staff. CUHK's Dean of Engineering, Professor Zhang Hongqi, says there's no guilty verdict yet, and he heard Wong's explanation, which might be a bit different from what's reported in the news. Wong reportedly rammed his vehicle into a car on campus while he was returning to the staff quarters. The crash also damaged another parked vehicle. He left the scene after the incident. Campus security later reported the case to police. When officers arrived to investigate, Wong failed the breathalyzer test and was apprehended.
The tender period for the Hung Shui Kiu pilot area in the northern metropolis closed at noon. At least 2 bids were received. Henderson Land submitted a solo bid, while a consortium involving mainland companies and a local developer also put in a bid.
The government received at least 2 bids after the tender period for the Hung Shui Kiu pilot area in the northern metropolis closed today. They include a solo bid from Henderson Land and a bid from a consortium involving 6 companies, including China Overseas Land and Investment, JD.com, and Sinoland. The project is adjacent to the future Hung Shui Kiu MTR station. The project covers over 10 hectares, including 3 residential sites and 3 enterprise and technology park sites. Market valuation ranges from $2.9 billion to $4.9 billion. The winning consortium must develop and operate at least 1 site. The remaining 2 sites can be returned to the government after completion of land leveling works. A property analyst said the project is a key development area in the northern metropolis with strategic value, so there will be policy support in the future. He said the total investment would be over $20 billion. To alleviate the cash flow pressure on developers, the government has introduced an interest-free installment payment arrangement for land prices for the first time.
Hong Kong's principal officials and other political appointees are set to receive a 1.3% pay rise starting July 1st. Civil servants, meanwhile, will continue to receive a 2% salary hike. Replying to media inquiries, the Constitutional and Mainland Affairs Bureau says the adjustment is in line with the average annual change in the C category of the Consumer Price Index, which is the inflation level of some 10% of the city's households having higher average monthly expenditures. In the last fiscal year, the government introduced a salary freeze for the chief executive, politically appointed officials, all civil servants, and lawmakers. Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, rejected allegations her government reacted too slowly to destruction caused by 2 earthquakes. Rodriguez said the death toll now stood at 2,595, and her government was not yet ending its search and rescue efforts. She did not give a tally for the missing. An unofficial but widely used online list was down to some 38,500 after peaking at nearly 60,000 in the days immediately after the quakes. Daniel Rao tells us more.
Speaking in her first press conference since the U.S. ousted her predecessor Nicolás Maduro, Venezuela's interim president Delcy Rodriguez defended her government's response to the earthquakes. Rodriguez described the quakes as a natural tragedy on a scale that could never be imagined. She said her government did not wait 1, 2, or 3 days, it acted immediately. Rodriguez said her government had done everything in its power and more to help rescue and recovery efforts. She said 4,000 officials were deployed, immediately rising to 14,000 the day after, and then to a current figure of 19,000. Rodriguez said she also issued an emergency decree to activate emergency protocols. Civilians of all stripes have descended on disaster areas, especially the hardest hit northern state of La Guaira, since the 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude quakes struck on June 24th. Many of those digging through the rubble, along with international aid organizations, say the Venezuelan government's response was slow and ineffectual, with aid like food and medical supplies delayed, and an ongoing lack of heavy machinery to move debris. Dramatic footage of earthquake survivors continues to emerge. Rescuers pulled a 43-year-old security guard alive from a collapsed basement, ending a grueling days-long operation. Hernan Alberto Flores emerged to safety atop a stretcher surrounded by helmet-clad rescue workers. Rescuers who initially made contact with him over the weekend worked for more than 100 hours to free him, navigating a highly unstable structure, torrential rain, and persistent aftershocks to tunnel down to the survivor. The rescue was considered a small miracle cutting through a week of tragedy. By supplying Gil Flores with food and water while they excavated the concrete, rescue teams were able to keep him alive far longer than the 48 to 72-hour threshold most operations give to find survivors in disasters. A 6-year-old dog named Buddy was pulled out alive after spending 8 agonizing days trapped beneath his collapsed home in the city of Carabayeda. Danral TV News.
Welcome back. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said Thursday that China is ready to work with Denmark to expand cooperation in trade and investment, launch discussions on a new version of the Green Joint Work Program, and deepen cooperation in scientific research and innovation, green shipping, and healthcare. Wang made the remarks during talks with Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen in Copenhagen, recalling the 75th anniversary of diplomatic ties celebrated last year. Wang voiced China's readiness to follow through on the important consensus reached by President Xi Jinping and Danish King Frederik X to maintain high-level exchanges and strengthen dialogue and cooperation across various departments and fields. China is Denmark's largest trading partner in Asia. French Green Party lawmakers have filed a no-confidence motion against the government over its handling of a severe heat wave in late June. This as the country braces for a third possible bout of extreme temperatures next week. The heat wave is continuing to affect much of Europe. In Portugal, temperatures are expected to reach 43 degrees Celsius in some parts of the country. A red alert has been issued for Lisbon and other regions. The Portuguese government has placed the country under alert due to the aggravated wildfire risks for most of the country's mainland. Elsewhere, oppressive heat is bearing down on the eastern U.S. heading into the long 4th of July weekend. At the Franklin Park Zoo in Boston, workers hosed down and misted animals, provided them with shaded indoor areas, and offered icy treats. According to the U.S. National Weather Service, dangerous record-breaking heat will continue across much of the central and eastern parts of the country. A former U.S. Olympian has been indicted on a single count of property destruction. He has been accused of vandalizing the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C. and is now facing felony charges. District of Columbia U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro stated that on June 19th, David Hearn ripped up recently installed sealant on the pool in a deliberate act causing $1,000 in damage. 67-year-old Hearn is a former Olympic canoe racer who owns a watercraft company. He told the Associated Press that he reached into the pool to examine the newly peeled coating. He let go shortly after a park worker told him to. Pop music megastar Taylor Swift and National Football League player Travis Kelce are married, the New York Post's Page 6 reported Thursday. It cited multiple unnamed sources who said the couple exchanged vows in front of a tiny group of loved ones. This as preparations were underway for an unexpected celebration at New York's Madison Square Garden. Tracy Furness has more.
Fans were milling outside Madison Square Garden Thursday in hope of catching a glimpse of the newlyweds. It's exciting, you know. I feel like so much is going on in the world. Everybody needs a little excitement. We're huge Taylor Swift fans, and we're happy that it's happening for them. And yeah, just a little stroll on our lunch break to see if we could catch anything.
Workers scrambled to prepare Madison Square Garden earlier Thursday for what was expected to be a lavish celebration for the superstars. Page Six did not say when or where the nuptials took place, though it noted Swift's private jet recently spent time in Nashville, the city where she lived earlier in her career. Swift's publicist did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and Reuters could not confirm the Page Six report. Other media outlets report that Swift and Kelsey held a 100-person event at the Garden on Thursday that will be followed by a larger celebration in front of 1,000 people on Friday. Swift and Kelsey have donated $26 million to charities this week ahead of their Friday wedding. The donations were spread out across 20 local and national charities, according to Swift's publicists, with many located in areas where the couple has deep ties. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
The city's first certified basic housing unit is out, 4 months after the Basic Housing Unit Ordinance took effect. With a 1-year registration period and a 36-month grace period for renovation works, landlords have 4 years in total to comply with the regulations. Memo Sangai had a look.
Located on Cheung Sam Wan Road, Hong Kong's first certified basic housing unit received authorities' approval at the end of June after about 3 months of preparation work and renovation. The flat, originally over 500 square feet in size, is divided up into 3 rental units, ranging from 100 to 180 square feet each. These units now need to meet the new ordinance minimum requirement of 8 square meters in size, or about 80 square feet. They also come with an individual bathroom with upgraded works, including independent water and electricity meters, as well as ventilation systems. Factoring in material costs, fees for registered specialists such as surveyors, and professional certification fees, the conversion project has cost about $150,000, with an average cost per unit at about $50,000, a similar rate to authorities' reference cost. The Hong Kong Basic Housing Units Operators Association says the project demonstrates that compliance costs can remain manageable when renovations are properly planned.
Before, for our flat, the renovation maybe for the electricity requirement is not meeting the requirement of it should be a reasonable price. Since actually for our flat we have doing some renovation is meeting the minimum requirement of the flat. All of the purpose is based on the safety.
And the monthly rental fees there will stay at around $6,000 to $9,000.
We did not increase the price, even we are making the registration in the government. Since we would like for the tenant to stay in the flat instead of just they move out and we don't have any income.
Asked what advice he will offer to landlords who will be doing renovations, Chen says they should start the process early and seek professionals' opinions, such as engineers. Memos 9, TVB News.
The observatory says the standby signal number 1 will remain in force tonight and at first tomorrow. Affected by the outer rain bands of Tropical Storm Maysak, many areas in Hong Kong experienced heavy rain and strong gusts this afternoon. The amber rainstorm warning signal was issued for 2 hours. A large tree collapsed next to Learn King Station on the Two Moon Light Rail, causing a temporary disruption to light rail services. Unless Maysak intensifies significantly and adopts a track closer to the coast of Guangdong, the observatory says the chance of issuing the strong wind signal number 3 is relatively low. A protective board on the exterior wall in Tsim Sha Tsui struck 2 passers-by this afternoon. The injured, a father and daughter duo, have been sent to hospital. The accident happened around 12:30 p.m. on Canton Road in Tsim Sha Tsui. The shop involved was undergoing exterior wall repairs. Dismantling efforts of the remaining boards continued. The daughter, who sustained injuries to the feet, and father were both conscious while being sent to Queen Elizabeth Hospital for treatment. The People's Liberation Army's Navy vessels Nanning and Henyang are in Hong Kong for the second day of their 5-day port call. The ships invited Hong Kong students to visit this morning. Kelly Law was there.
Guided missile destroyer Nanning and guided missile frigate Henyang were docked at the Nong Shun Chau barracks of the People's Liberation Army Hong Kong garrison. Students board Nanning witnessed the various weapons on board. Domestically designed and built with Hull number 162, Nanning is capable of performing regional air defense and maritime assault missions. The guided missile frigate Henyang with Hull number 568 is also open to youth groups.
I feel very happy and very excited because the barracks and warships are so mysterious for us. And today I have the chance to be here. It's actually the first time for me to be here, and I take a lot of pictures, no matter with the soldiers or with the warships. I feel very happy, and I love the view here and the vibe here.
更聽我，行業離行樹飄過。
Some naval officers came to Hong Kong with a warship for the first time.
看他们也十分开心。
The Henyang Petty Officer Yin Jun says it's great to see the students' vibrant energy and hopes the Port Corps helps boost young people's patriotism.
到香港的话，其实以前跟
The Nanning's naval officer Chen Jingdan says they hope the battleship Port Corps in Hong Kong allows more in-depth exchanges between the PLA and the locals. Both warships have carried out escort missions in the Somali waters of the Gulf of Aden.
All displayed naval ships have each visited more than 10 countries. Here in Hong Kong, the ships have guided tours provided on board.
The ships are open to the public with reservations for Saturday and Sunday. Kelly Law, TVB News.
The Hong Kong Productivity Council's Summer Tech Ed Fest 2026 began today. The two-day education jamboree attracted a record 7,000 registered visitors, with more than 100 STEAM activities offered. A lion dance troupe from a primary school kicked off the event with an AI-powered robotic lion. Children and parents can step into a slew of workshops, seminars, and interactive booths covering AI, education tech, and various smart living applications. Students from different schools, including award-winning young innovators, will share how they leverage AI in studies and creative work. Also hosting interactive exhibits are the police's Cybersecurity and Technology Crime Bureau and education sector organizations. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.